a second what happened. It's a combination of we were hacked and not very smart.
We got hacked.
I'm gonna take this stream to the police station, and they're gonna arrest everyone. Everyone that's ever even like looked at our stuff, they're gonna arrest them right there.
We're gonna get a subpoena.
A subpoena. Let me do this.
Live chat.
Okay, hey Jana. So
Jana, go get everybody. Tell them to come back.
because the storms that we had that we were talking about where the trees were down, my place of employment still does not have a landline service.
So what did you do,
Their
Mandy?
DSL doesn't work. So I turn the Wi-Fi off to use my signal when I'm at work, which is another reason why I don't know a lot that's going on in the community because I don't have a signal. So I got home and didn't turn it back on. So
Hey, Michaela.
I'm just glad it was such an easy fix because I didn't know what I looked at. I was like,
Bottom line is I was going to pull the router, reset the router, and Mandy said, hey, Raylene, Mandy said, oh, my Wi-Fi is off on this device that we're using the live stream.
yeah.
So we turned it back on. So we
And
should
our
be good.
signal wasn't flying. But you know, thank you, Jana. But our signal, so that goes to show you the normal thing that our signal's not good at.
It wasn't
9:30.
my fault, Whiplash. Not this time.
Not this time. Well, everything's Sean's fault. Let's blame it on him.
We blame it on Ike.
I'm gonna, I wanna, I'm gonna write a monologue about you.
What's it called?
What's not true. Under the sheet.
But then
in the
go
sheets.
point by point and be like, okay, rumor, even though the thing where it says rumor,
Hang
myth,
on, baby.
rumor, myth, and then with reality, they say it for all kinds of stuff, like, they do it about Hollywood stars, like, the rumor is,
Yeah, something
blah, blah,
like
blah, blah,
that.
blah, and it's like, the truth is this.
You know, Sunshine Sally was on the other day. I don't think you caught it, but Sally was on the Beast panel. And what she said is the same thing that everyone kind of says. Sean said this, everyone. If you brag about how much eggplants you're getting, you ain't getting no eggplant. And it goes for men too. If you're bragging about how much you're getting, you're not getting any.
Is it like eggplant? I don't think I like eggplant. I like hair pie.
Oh my God. You're foul. We're trying to keep this very...
Oh, it's just
Hey, Nelson, how are you,
family-oriented.
sweetie?
Oh, what time is, oh, it's 8:20, so.
You're 34. Happy birthday, Nelson.
Yay.
Happy birthday. So, yeah, she was spot on. And I saw something somewhere where someone was trying to be dramatic about it. Like, I can't believe your mom and you watched it. And she goes, my mom thought you were crazy. Hey, Justine. Anyway, but that's why another reason I don't really know. We don't know what's going on because I don't have a signal at work. So I don't have any choice but just to do my job.
Yeah, and I'm at work, so
Slaving away.
I have one day off a week.
Slaving away. I wanted to show you guys, so this is so not sponsored, but it's something that I found. For people who have had weight loss surgery or HAC or just anemic in general, have been told to take iron. My doctor prescribed me iron. I'm sorry, I should take it. I'm not into it. And I don't, it honestly does hurt my stomach a little bit when I do take the tablet, and it's just boring. But I found this, let me hide this, at Walmart, and they're gummies. They're gummies, and it's your iron. So if you've had weight loss surgery or you're supposed to be taking iron, it's 2 a day, and it tastes really good. B, I said hi.
I can't, who?
B-A.
I can't see back. I can't see B.
I thought it
can't
said,
see.
at first I thought it said Beck. I was
Why
like,
can't
get
I
out
see?
of here, you racist.
Why can't I see?
Exactly. So I can see, whatever, a Texas girl got blocked, right?
Like 2 streams ago. I
When
think.
she was popping in there, like spouting off halfway through or whatever. So anyway, this is this. Sean takes a gummy multivitamin
Magnesium.
and
And a
magnesium.
magnesium, yeah.
I talk about his little old man sink.
I have, this is my chemical.
He has all of his thing, but you know what? That's sexy AF all day, every day.
Thank you.
And his,
But guys, I gotta show my shirt again because the last one got froze out.
it says the same
Lower
thing.
it down, lower it down. The national championship, Georgia and Alabama,
And
Monday.
of all people to battle it out.
It's always them.
Not Georgia and Alabama not to this
But
stage.
but it's always Georgia and Alabama, like on
Yeah.
some stage, and the SEC is the top stage. So
Right. I know, Missy, you're exactly right. Wash, rinse, repeat. It's so like whatever. It's probably for numbers would be my guess. I haven't seen it, but that would be scared of who be? Who we scared scared
it's
of?
pretty obvious you guys are scared.
You like it and not OG troll. Scared of what though?
We're OG trolls. What
But
you
I
talking
mean,
about?
what are we scared of?
I don't know.
Oh, let it go.
Let
Said
It Go
you had to
said,
go.
You out.
You got, yeah, it's pretty obvious we're scared. We're not OG trolls. Scared of what though?
We're OG trolls.
Well, it's a very odd thing. But anyway, you had to go. So we, there's animals everywhere. So they saw your shirt. There was something else we were gonna tell them about. And I said, oh, I can't believe we keep forgetting to tell that. The chicken coop's coming when?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, it's coming. They called today. They were actually could deliver it this afternoon. No, let it go. It's cool. They actually could have come this afternoon, but
Yeah, so we're both at work, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we'll bring you a chicken coop. It's like, well, when? Well, we'll bring it now.
yeah, they were ready.
We're both at work, and it's like, well, can you bring it at 5?
Nelson,
Oh, no,
right?
we can't bring it at 5. That's way too late. We can bring it now. If we can't bring it now, then we have to bring it next week.
Which was fine.
It was fine, but still, you know how people are. That's going to give us a chance to go outside and look at exactly, because it's pretty heavy. It's not like she can say, it's not like a Christmas tree where Mandi can go, I want it over there.
Yeah.
Or I want it over there. So we have to figure out where it's going to go
We're excited
and put
though.
it there. Yeah, we are.
And then Sean will be able to pick out his first. Where are you gonna get it at? Your first chick.
I think mypetchicken.com maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got to be, it used to be like 5 years ago,
Look,
you could,
I'm about to AC. Just hold on. Hold
What's the
that
matter?
thought.
it's not impotent.
I'm gonna address that in just 1 second. Go ahead.
It used to be 5 years ago or whatever, they used to have like chicken swap meets where, it's like anything. People would just meet, they'd rent a yard or whatever, and everyone would bring their chickens and ducks
Oh,
and
that's
geese.
cool.
But then they started having
Yeah, yoga.
a little bit of like a bird pandemic thing where now there's pretty strict rules over, you can't just sell birds anymore. So now, you got to go through the whole process, and so now it's got to kind of be like an LLC or a company. Now, that's not to say that people don't get on like Facebook Marketplace and local and say, hey, I've got chickens, if you want them, come get them. You just can't have like an organized like place where everybody goes.
How many how many chickens do you have to have before you get the rooster? Or can you get the rooster for
You can just have a rooster for one other chicken.
right?
But I mean,
I'm
roosters
gonna
are
read
mostly,
it. Hold on.
roosters are mostly not monogamous, so you got to have a couple chickens.
Okay, they're not monogamous. So, hey, Steve, pertaining to, I have heard this several times today, and
What's up, Yoko?
I'm just gonna have to lay it out there the way that everyone can understand. Now, look, I wasn't in their bedroom. I don't know what went on or what didn't go on, and I don't really care. But I do know this.
That you were
That's
in our bedroom.
never been a problem with him. And I'm not going to brag and gloat, but there's a reason why I hightailed it on out of what I had and loving that.
One of them.
Now, if I was with a man who could not perform when he was with me, and then someone else was saying, oh, no problem here, I would quit saying that. First of all, I would never say he couldn't, whoever it was, because
It's
what
kind
it
of a
comes
tacky
down
thing to do.
is that, you know what, if you do what you need to do, that's not a problem. So you keep saying it. It's not insulting him because it's whatever, but you look stupid when you keep saying it because it was a failure on your part.
You got to want to do it. That's the first thing. You got to want
Mm-hmm.
to. So in a sense, it's really kind of true because you want to. But here's the other thing. It's tacky to talk about an ex.
Mm-hmm.
I have more respect around here for not saying anything, for never going off. And there's been times I've been close, Mandy will tell you. But the bottom line is, first of all, for the people who are like, you don't do this, you need to strike her, you need to take her to court. I've been to court with her twice and kicked her ass both times. And it's just not a YouTube thing. We told y'all, I mean, it was one time we went for the no contact thing with her, and the other was a divorce. So that I don't, if I got back involved into this and ended up, say I went to North Carolina for something, they would throw me out of, I would be looked at by every
They'd be
magistrate.
like, why did you come
They're
back?
like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Go live your life. They would be probably pretty pissed off at me for it. But so that's why, but really the bottom line is it's really, really tacky to talk about any ex.
Especially after 3 years.
There was somebody else that was on, I mean, if they're dragging the hell out of you, then yeah, I can see some people getting on there and retaliating. But I get more respect from y'all and in the community because I don't. If we wanted to put hundreds of people in the chat and build a channel, I would just say I'm gonna tell it all. But it's not. I don't think a man does that.
Yeah,
So I don't think a man
it's not
does
something
that.
he really
So.
even wants to talk about. Most of the time, if the name even comes up, he's just like, you know what I mean? It's not. But anyways, so is this? Well, I'll put it to bed with this. With the whole, I was dry as the Sahara then, and he couldn't. You know, it sounds like mutually
What?
y'all didn't. When she would say now she's a fluid factory,
Yeah.
but then she was dry as the Sahara and her whatever. I wouldn't tell people that. I wouldn't. It's.
Some people don't understand that that's really they're downing themselves.
That's exactly it.
You're really going in on yourself, and I think that there's a few people that have probably must have, from what I understand, because what was that panel? Was it Sunday? I was at work. I came home. I think it was Sunday. So I came home from work because I work. My longest day of my work week is Sunday. I go to work at like 4 a.m. and I come home at like 2 p.m. It's a pretty long day. My job is to prep our work area for the work week, and it takes all day to do it. So my day on Sunday is doing that. That's what I do. I get everyone else's.
Exactly.
I get us ready.
Flashed.
So when I came home,
Hey, Saint Ratty.
I had heard that there was
Thank you,
a
AC.
stream and there was a panel, and I was told, not for nothing, but even the people on her panel were telling her to, to cool it. And these were not. I heard the names of the people that were on the panel. It's not like these are the ladies of YouTube. These are some raunchy gals.
So the Saint Ratty says, Sean, did you need therapy after your first marriage? That was not, the beast was not his first time at the altar,
No.
so to speak.
I was still on active duty, but I was in therapy, but it was mostly for my combat that I had seen. Not so much for my decisions on the women
Yeah.
in my life, but
There you are. Hey, Karen. Yeah, he said they said they would have gone to the loony bins. I did. Say I did. He went to decompress at a psych hospital.
I know I went there to unwind.
But anyway, that's enough about that. You put enough on a Twitter feed that we can pretty much keep up with what's going on if we want to. But
And I have her right by my side, and she stays linked in with y'all on the drama side of it, and I mean I give my opinions on stuff and everything, and I have them, but and especially about everything that went on in the last few days, but she's right here telling me, this is what's important.
yeah, not to.
So, because I have friends that get caught up in that stuff.
Yeah.
People that I respect, and you get into a situation where you get lowered to a level. I mean, how many times have you seen in a YouTube stream where somebody goes down the rabbit hole and then
Yes,
you hear them say either
exactly.
on Twitter or they say, I can't believe I went to that
Hey,
level.
oh, wow.
I can't believe that this person made me say those things. Is people bring them, they're really good at bringing people into their lair, into their,
Oh, thank you.
into their rules.
And even Sally has said that before in the past.
She said it
When she's gotten
specifically.
triggered by, she says, I can't believe
I
went there.
said that, or I went there. And that's why I can't believe that the people keep going back.
Yeah.
They keep going back. Anyway,
Let me put the,
Moving
yeah,
on.
that's exactly it. It says, Sean is so calm, and go over to that stream. She's been screaming for at least 10 hours or more. That's just gonna end in a bloodbath? I mean,
Yeah.
a fake bloodbath, or how's it gonna, I don't,
the thing is this, at the end of the day, I could really control,
into their darkness, yes.
I could control as much attention and I mean, and so could she, but we stay away from it. People, it'll be focused on other people. I mean, so that's.
But that was quite the panel.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it.
I didn't
heard about it.
watch it. I just had to see I really didn't watch it. I just saw who was on it, and I was like,
But I mean, the people that, was it the same stream where people called in and went on panel, or was it two different things?
I don't know. I know that Shani and Just Beck were on there. I don't know a lot about Stacy the Sparkling Star, but I do know that Shani has been overtly racist, has videos like that, and I know that Beck is overtly racist as well. So I don't know how that fits in with the Rosa Parks thing, or if it does or if it doesn't, but if we were to do a panel, we would be pretty cognizant of what, not listening to rumors or not listening to rumors about the people and prejudging, but the facts are the facts. And if someone,
And then, didn't the person reaffirm their beliefs like on the panel, something like that? I don't know.
something like that. Yeah,
But I mean, my question is we're talking about like, someone said, when Sally had said something to her, was that the same day, the same stream, the same panel, or was that two different events? That'd be my
I
question.
think Sally was on it on Sunday, but I think that foursome panel was maybe just a couple days ago. I don't think
Oh,
it was-
I got you, yeah, that happened
Yeah.
after.
I
Okay.
think so. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Saint Ratty, talking about the two other, hold on. When alerts come through, I'm embarrassed to say
But
they live in my
not
state.
the
I
same
think
day or
Aussie.
stream.
I think
Yeah.
she's talking about yeah, okay, so it's an Aussie thing. Thank you. Mandi Druggy. Scared to address me? No. What would you like to talk about? But that's just it. It's like with Just Beck, she's been in here before, and people are like, no, she's this, this, and this, and I'm like, this is their chat. You got to go. And now that I've seen, what she's capable of saying, and that she's very happy to say it, I can't go with that. So there you go. Thank you, Pink Moon.
What about Nick the racist?
Oh my God, y'all!
It's a weird dude right there.
He's no due loyalty. I think we talked about
No dual loyalty, yeah,
anyways.
funny. I
think we've about covered the highlights. He though is overtly racist too.
Yeah.
I hate to keep saying that as a word, but
I think he's trolling people most of the time, though. Even though it's not right to be, when you hear him talk, it's kind of like
not the same day or
can't
something. Okay.
be, he can't be. He's got to be trolling his people.
Yeah.
Or his 3 people that are watching most
Something
of the time.
like that. Yeah, beyond cuckoo. That's what and I don't understand. She's friends with Sammy again, and I remember when they hated each other and they routinely
Who, Beck?
drugged the shit out of each other. Remember that Sammy, the prepper
I
Sammy?
I
or
mean, I
whatever?
remember her. But both of them seem to be respectfully a little like their elevator didn't go all the way to the top.
Just Beck will admit she's severely bipolar. She stays up for several days at a time, and if Sean told me to calm down and everything would be all right, I would feel safe with him. Oh, that's cool. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I do. I see that. Thank you.
It is.
I'm very, you guys have heard me say it before, and it's just really actions have to speak louder than words, or maybe in my case, it's inaction. But I'm way more centered than I've been, probably ever than when you guys have ever watched me, and I go back years. when you see me like right now, I work, 9-hour day today too. And then I come home to the love of my life and we kind of hang out and we decide, what we're going to do. We're going to go live or whatever. But it's a way more calm. My mind is way calmer than you guys would have probably remembered me. And I'm doing things with my life. I'm back into a career again, and
chickens.
And I'm gonna have it's just, I'm not afraid. I don't have to keep half my life in a storage locker like I used to.
As it
And
dwindled
then I have a
down
chicken.
each
I'm getting a
time.
chicken coop now, so that if we do have an argument, that's my storage locker. I'll just go in there with my cars and chickens.
I was looking at it today when I drove by it, and
I sleep with my barber.
he sleeps with his barber,
But
unless I take him to the professional cutter, but I normally cut it. They have windows, like legit, not just little window, like raised windows that can be raised.
yeah, you can lift up the windows
Did
in
you
the
know
chicken
that?
coop. There's going to be 2 of those. But I think that the coolest thing about it is that little latch that runs the length of it, and you just flip it up. It comes up about 3 inches, and you can just sweep it all out the side.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
That and the overalls and the new rain boots. I have had black Uggs, I kid you not, for going on 10 years. I've worn them every winter. They finally blew out today. And I'm hoping that with all of the problem with your the cargos and things like that, and I know this is first world problems, but I'm hoping my big old feet are able to get some shoes.
Maybe we'll get matching Uggs.
Dude, they do have dude sex.
I know.
I remember what it was. It was when you came home the other day and I was in the shower. That's what I was gonna tell.
Oh my God, guys, this is worth talking about, because I was genuinely like, and here's the thing: if I wasn't as centered as I was, I would have flipped out. But go ahead, you can tell your side.
Well, no, you say what you came home to.
So I come home, okay, and it's Monday, I think. So it's rainy and nasty, and it was a nasty day. So the whole mood was, trees down and all that. So I pull in.
Hey, Viola.
Mandy's car is in the driveway because she normally comes home before me, and so I walk in.
Door wide open, right?
Well, the front door is open,
But the storm door was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I come in, and my cat, the calico, Ellie, is out there, and I call her, and I come in. So the cat. This is a whole nother story how the calico comes to me, but so me and Ellie come in, and I come in and it's quiet.
Thank you, AC.
And I'm like, Mandy, hey, and I hear nothing. So I go to the back of the house, or where the bedroom is, and I look in the bathroom. I don't hear the shower on. I hear nothing, and I look, and I don't see anything. And I come out, I see her phone, and then I walk back into the living room, and I'm calling her, and Mandy is nowhere to be found in the house. And I re-verify that her car is there in the parking lot.
In Sawyer.
And then I look outside, and Sawyer is outside.
Coming to the door, right?
Coming to the door like he had been outside. He'd been outside the whole time. So now I'm thinking, she's gone. And Sawyer was outside with her, and something happened to Mandy. And it was weird. It was weird. And then all of a sudden, here comes my wife with just a towel on out of the shower, and I was like, oof. But then I was happy that didn't happen.
Did you think the beast had had her? That's funny. Emma, YouTube has an automatic filter that it might have gotten caught in, but I haven't seen you comment since you've been in here. So if you said something supportive, I didn't see it. Nobody removed it because we can see from here what's said. So this is after it was all said and done, and I come out, and he was like, I didn't know if someone had taken you or whatever, and I looked at him and went,
out, man.
who's gonna come in here and take my big old ass? How are they gonna pick me up?
He said, who's gonna take my big ass out of here?
And he laughed, and I said, what are they gonna do? Throw me over their shoulder or whatever? How are they gonna get me out of the house? I'll be like, you guys, I can't wait to see this. Now,
They
how
get
do
like
you
halfway
propose
out, they'd
to
be
get
like,
me?
just put it on.
I'm like thinking about them trying to pick me up and throw them over their shoulder and be like,
Yeah.
Anyway, he thought that was funny. At first I thought he would be like, when I said it, he'd be like, he wouldn't know how to do it, but he busted out laughing. I'm like,
Well, but because I was relieved. It was
Bye, Saint Ratty.
It was weird, you know.
It's unsettling, and I can understand. I mean, it's everything combined.
I don't do very well on a day-to-day basis if I'm not connected to her.
Yeah.
And it, in a lot of times people would say it's a little unhealthy. It's not. I mean, I've talked to my therapist about it. I've talked to your dad about it, and with both of them, and they both said in our case, it's not an unhealthy thing. Our connection.
Yeah.
But I don't really do well as well at work if I know she's not feeling well, or if I just don't.
And I'm the same way.
You know, I'm very, very codependent on Mandi.
Yeah.
So.
I worry when my love is hard to find. Yeah, that's one day I went to the nail salon, and for whatever reason I left my phone in the car, and I knew I was gonna probably get something
Thank
done,
you,
but
Big
I
Moon.
didn't know how long it would take, and it ended up being, I was in the nail salon for about 3 hours. And when I got to the car, he wasn't in a panic, but he was like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "That wasn't right. I should have gone to the car and gotten my phone." And he was like, "No, it's not." I said, "No, really, I should
freaks
have."
Me out. It freaks me out because there are times when she's just not feeling well, and she has to check out, and so I struggle with it's okay.
Yeah.
She has to take care of herself sometimes, and that's self-preservation, and that's just I get very selfish when like I get off of work. You know, I know I'm coming home to her, and I am excited. So if I don't get to come home and see her and have all of her, sometimes I get selfish, and I'm learning because I don't get mad about
Thanks,
it.
Emma.
I don't get mad about it, but I just kind of get like off center, and I'm trying to figure out how to just, okay, I'm not communicating with her. She needs to take care, or whatever the reason might be. It might be she left her phone in the car. And I'm not talking about every 5 minutes or
But
so.
no, but
you know,
that
I'm like,
that was a few hours. I should.
yeah, but like several hours.
Yeah.
Like you guys know what I mean. You guys that are in healthy relationships, you talk to your spouses or your partners every 2-3 hours. You might get a text, or every 3-4
Yeah.
hours you might get something. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about every 5 minutes. I'm just saying, like I'll go to work and then I'll work and then I check in with her at lunch and then maybe I check in with her at 4 or then I'm on the way home, and I get excited about it. And if I know or think that she needs time to herself, or she's
Star
doing
6,
something,
7.
or she's at the store or something, I just want to be with her.
Yeah, which
So,
is cool, and I'm totally okay with that.
And without context, there'd be a lot of people without any context who don't know us, or they would look at that and go, well, maybe that's too much. But the people that know us and know our histories in this don't say that. Everybody is like, ours is a healthy sort of codependence. So
Yeah, Karen says, and I'll read yours in just a second. Karen said that one time you hadn't heard back from Sean, I could tell you were genuinely worried about him. I do, because it's so
Yeah.
unlike him. You may scratch it. And Emma says, "No worries. I've just been a long time watcher, but never commenter. But just seeing how bad that echo chamber is over on Narcissist stream make me want to say how much I have supported you all."
Thank you.
That's cool. That's what
Very
it's all
cool.
about.
We we took a long break from YouTube, and not necessarily on part of it was on purpose, but part of it was because my parents just didn't really want us to that much, and so when we've come back, we try to do it with way less of the like. We pop onto YouTube 2 years ago. Hey, Tomahawk Sean's with ATX, and it was kind of all in the drama situation. So that was always kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And it always kind of will be, but we just kind of want to have the channel without too much of that. Just have
C.
our
Marie,
own.
hey C. Marie, first of all, but it says, "Oh, my heart. You were abused and mentally abused for years, Sean. It's okay to be codependent. You have a lot of trauma for a long time. Being loved is new."
Thank you.
He healed that time that we had in the apartment in Austin, especially when COVID hit and everybody was forced to be together, which it wasn't much of a force for us because we liked it. But I feel like there was a lot of healing that went on with him during that time because there was no outside. We could literally just sit in there
Yeah.
and sit in the silence and learn about each other. And we were in our own little cocoon.
And just the other day when because we basically have Saturday all day and half a Sunday together. That's what we have for the week. and then the nights. You know, we get up together, we go to work, we come home. And remember, we were sitting in there, and you said it best. You were like, remember how much we just were able to just lay around and just, you know, love on each other. And those, you know, we don't get to do that anymore, but it's probably, that was a good memory. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Because you can't just sit around and do nothing all day.
And we didn't have, we didn't have tons of money. We both weren't obviously working in the jobs we are now. So we were like, I mean, cooking was a thing. We couldn't eat out. We couldn't.
It was real serious when we made.
And there was lockdown. You couldn't really
you
go
really
do anything anyway.
You really couldn't eat. But there was some things like when we decided, like a financial decision, it was knowing, okay, that if we do this, we're eating noodles for about 3 days or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
remember that?
hot dogs and ramen.
And
I don't eat that, but he would.
But I
eat
would. So we're not quite, you know, we've come a long way. But as we were sitting there, because it was Saturday and we're just sleeping in basically, and Mandi said it. She's like, "Remember when we could do this all day, every day?" And I was
with
like,
our
"Yeah."
pets. We had our puppy.
And how it was just great fortune and a good memory, because that was like the first 18 months or 16 months of our relationship. We were able to do that. And there was no one that could tell us no because of the pandemic and this and that. And it is amazing. And maybe someday we'll be able to do it again, but not right now.
Yeah.
And if we have a little one,
you
definitely not.
You talk about like the brass tacks of a relationship. That's what that was about. That was like completely and totally just focusing on each other. And there was a lot of marriages that got stronger during that time. My parents' marriage got stronger. His parents
My parents' marriage got stronger, yeah.
And then some fell apart.
And my parents been together over 50 years, and theirs got stronger.
Yeah. Thank you, Black Dragonfly. Michaela says, Sean, you were terrorized for years, and it takes a while to accept. You both will make it.
Yeah,
you needed that time.
I
And
thank you
Karen,
for that, yeah.
Karen and Loretta were right there in contact while it was going on. Just, it would be like, because there was no major issues, but sometimes I had to bounce a situation off of them because our prior relationships were very, very different. And we had to learn what's a healthy way to discuss and do, and what's not. And we both had
we were both in dirty fights with our partners.
Yeah.
Both of us fought. You said it too. You like when we would argue, and I I go silent, and I don't argue back. And she's like, saying whatever, and look at me, I'm doing this on the screen. She's going like this, and I'm not saying anything. And remember the first couple of times you were like, "Why aren't you saying anything? Don't you have anything to say?" And I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna say this because I don't want to say something or do something out of frustration that I can't take back. And then she said it. She goes, "Well, I know how to fight dirty. That's all I know how to do is fight dirty." And I don't know what your dirty and my dirty was different, way different, what we went through. But
well, and what's funny is what he learned. Look, I'm not that complicated to women get miffed about things. My son just got married. He was complaining that his new bride doesn't let him have any say in the decorating and whatever. And I was like, "Welcome to marriage, honey." They don't.
He comes home from work. Here's a 23-year-old kid
because I just want to play video games.
I want to come home from work. I've been working all day, and she's giving me a hard time because I want to play like whatever. And he's like, "Duh."
I said, "You gotta."
She's a newlywed,
and the first year is hard, especially when you're young. But yeah, anyway. So that was funny. I said, "Oh, you're never going to be able to give decorating ideas. It doesn't matter whether it's her, someone else, whoever. The girl will always, kind of."
And on that note, I was kind of like in a cocoon. Remember when we would go out? We would go out to like Walmart or pick something out. And one time, one of our little arguments, really, you said, "I want your opinion on this." Like we would go somewhere and she would go.
He was used to not having a voice.
He'd be like, "What do you think about these towels?" And I'd go, "Whatever." Well, I mean, like, okay, so these dishes, this, what do you? And I'd be like, okay, if that's what you want. And she'd be like, Sean,
It
I
was-
want you to have an opinion. I
Well,
want you to tell me what you like and what you don't
The
like.
funny thing is, it was actually about a comforter, and I said,
That's
Sean,
right. Which we
I
were gonna
want
make
you-
a vlog
But this
about.
is what's funny. I said, Sean, I want you to show me which one you like. And so he looked and he goes, that one. I said, okay. Which other one? He pointed to the one. I was like, okay, clearly you can't pick out the comforter, but I'm glad that you had an opinion.
Yeah. It's like,
He was picking
Oh,
like
no.
Southwest designs.
she's
and
like,
I'm
I want to know. And I'd go, I like that one. Oh, no, not that one.
But I waited till you had showed me a couple, and then I was like, okay.
Now
yeah,
that we've
you can.
established that, that'll be what I do in the relationship.
It was funny, but he
Yeah.
wasn't used to having a voice.
Yeah.
He wasn't used to having a partner that he's playing with his toy. You know those crinkle toys? It's a dog toy.
Well, I was explaining to Mandy, this is how my relationship worked. I got my military pension and stuff. I paid every bill in the house, every one of them, hers and mine. And then I gave her about $1,000 in cash right on the first of the month. So every bill paid. So gals, if you put it into perspective, everything that you hear, the first of the month comes, you don't have any rent, you have no car payment, you have no auto, nothing.
And you
And
don't
he-
even have to pay attention to your spouse.
And
you get that.
and you get $1,000
No
handed
strings
to you.
attached.
You don't have a
Just-
job. Now that's a pretty good deal. But the other side of it is after that, it was kind of like separate lives.
Yeah.
I would go to work, whatever I made in my paycheck, I made. Whatever she did, and that's how we existed. But there was no bills. There was nothing that I took care of all that. So now in this relationship, it's sort of the same, but I've never been with somebody like Mandi that was like, here's my paycheck.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah, this is my paycheck.
He said when we
and-
first got together, and he was so hesitant about, if we were buying something, like he was so hesitant about. He goes, no, that's, and I said, it's not my money, it's our money.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he
I can
goes,
take
"I've
this
never-"
and add it to our income. She's like, yeah. Every Friday, she gets paid, and I've said to her,
And I cashed it as soon as
I've said to her many times, I want us to get to the point that you don't have to have any accountability for what you make. You just make it and it can be yours. And she's like, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it
But
goes.
that's the
so.
be. I make, and I'm not bragging, but I make good money.
She
doing what I
does.
do, and so I get. They still do a paper check, and I cash it, and that's our walking around money
Yep.
for the week.
So if you think about how you guys, I get paid good too. I have a
Colleen.
good job. So I have the same income that I had when I was, in my other marriage. Plus I have a career, which I get paid, and she gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about, I take care of like the things like all the bills, like the last time I pay everything.
We had to auto draft him because
Yeah.
we
We don't
couldn't-
pay him, so we
didn't know-
auto-draft
no, We
everything.
didn't know where to pay him to.
I know, we just didn't.
You
And-
get paperless, and then you're like, but who do I pay?
And then my partner, my wife, comes home with her paycheck, and that's what we live on all week. It's kind of a cool deal, we that's what
Colleen says, I cried every time she lied about being abused. I knew instinctively she was the user and abuser. And here's the thing, clear back to, and I'm sorry, placeholder, if you don't like this being talked about, but you've done your time doing it, and we're being very nice in how we say it. Back to the dream space days, when that BS first got pitched about that. I knew that was absolute crap. And moreover, my then husband knew that it was crap. Both of us knew from what we had seen there was no way. And you can say whatever when the camera's off, but you could see his mannerisms and you don't have to, whatever. Hey Gigi.
Hey, Gigi.
So my ex said, let me tell you something. You came home after that bullshit. I'd be like, go back to the dream space. He goes, I'd have had those locks changed and been like, see ya. So anyway, but
And I remember back during that day,
just not.
that would have been 2016, I guess. 2016, early 2017, and
yep.
I remember then everybody was pretty new in the community, but Randy, and when B was still around, and Randy and D were doing their thing, Randy was the first one that did a live stream and said, hey, she's whoever she is, but if he is abusing her, if he is doing this, we can't ignore it. And that was the first time. So the first time that was perpetuated, that I was abusive, it was addressed by the community. They gave it, you know, more than just a passing glance, but then it became apparent, you know, that's,
Well, that was
you
the
know.
first time we had heard anything about that.
Right.
It was the, we got back together. We had, about the time she started streaming, we had been separated. We're back together. Everything is whatever. And then one
Yeah.
day she's,
Yeah.
and everybody's
that's
like,
the pull the
"What?"
router incident and shit.
Yeah, that was crazy. But the other thing, and that I want to say about, like, you know, me working, and some people work inside the home, that's fine, anything. But the main reason that she didn't work, her most recent ex had it exactly, not Sean, this most recent ex, she's lazy. She's lazy. So she'd rather sell overpriced novelties or do whatever grifting she has to do to get by, because she's lazy.
I'm gonna
So-
tell you something, guys. This woman right here is good at what she does, and she works hard at it. Sometimes she comes home, and I'll have worked a 10 or 12-hour day, and I come home and I want to complain about how tired I am, and I see her. And I mean, it's not easy working with dementia patients.
No.
They're
It's-
mean.
The other thing is also that, I'm gonna tell a funny story about that too. The other thing is, I mean, what I do, caregiving, I love doing it. The main thing with it that a lot of people get held up is you do have to have a clear criminal record. You can't have any assaults or anything like that on your record. You can't obviously be on probation, but you definitely can't have any assaults, or you're not eligible to work as a CNA, unfortunately. So there's that. So I take a lot of pride in the fact that I can work that job.
Really good. I mean, it's just, we live in a
Oh,
kind of a
thank you.
small town. Well, we live in between Dahlonega and Dawsonville, and I don't know about Dahlonega, but in Dawsonville, which I work in the community, they know. I mean, the people, I've had more than one person, about once a month, someone comes up and says, "Doesn't your wife do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they ask me, and I'm like, "Well, she's in a contract, so," but I keep it in mind, you know, and I've come to you a couple of times about people that have wanted your services, and I mean, that's pretty kick-ass, you know.
So I'm gonna make it as short as possible, but this is where you have to just laugh sometimes. The other morning, I usually try to go to the grocery store on the way to her house, because she can be left alone while I go get it, but it makes her nervous. She's worried I'm not gonna buy the right thing, this and that. So it's easier if I go on the way. And usually, hey,
I see you,
Sean,
Shauna.
if
Hey,
I'm
hey,
gonna
Sean.
be a few minutes late getting there, I call her and say, "Hey, I'm on my way," or whatever, and that's fine. Well, the other day I called a couple of times, because look, I was only like 10 minutes late, but I called a couple of times, and I guess it was going to her cell phone. It defaulted to her cell phone, not her home phone. So I tried a couple of times, and she didn't pick up. So then I came in. It was about 11 minutes late. Oh, she was miffed. So I said, I went to Walmart
was
to pick the
miffed.
things up that we needed, or whatever, and I did it on the way because I thought it would be easier in case we step out or whatever. Well, she was in such a mood that she wanted something. I knew it was gonna be like one of those things where I could strike oil on her property, but she'd be mad about me digging in the garden. It was that kind of thing. So she said, "Well, what did you get?" And I said, "Well, I got, I got the lunch meat that I always get, because she gives one to the dog to get him inside, and she eats it. And sometimes I eat it too." She was like, "Lunch meat? We don't get lunch meat." And I said, "Yeah, we do get it. I do buy it." And I never say you don't remember. I never say anything like that. I said, I've gotten it every time. You use it for the dogs. Well, only if it's going to go bad. And I said, "No, I mean, we go through about 3 tubs on the weekend before I get here."
I couldn't do any
And
of
she
this.
turned around, and then she came back and said, "I don't eat lunch meat." And I was like, so I finally went, "Let's talk about this later," whatever. Then she got over it and whatever. So yesterday she's staring in the fridge, and she goes, "I think I want a sandwich." And I said, "Okay, well, what kind do you want?" And she was like, "I don't see anything." And I had the pimento and cheese, and I had her chicken salad. She said, "I don't see it." And I said, "What is it that you're looking for?" And she goes, "Lunch meat." And I was like, and the only thing you can do is go, "Oh, okay, I'll pick it up next time I go to the store."
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you
Now,
can
can you
do.
guys imagine that?
She
I'd be
doesn't
like,
have any idea.
Yep.
But that was so funny
and
when
the
she
big
did. I
thing
was
that-
like,
you can't take it personal. Mandy's
You
just
can't
saying
take
you
it
cannot
personally.
take it personal when that happens, because it's not.
Oh, thank you, Viola. Viola said my father died of dementia, but we didn't know until the end. Wish had someone like Mandy to help.
Wow.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. B used to, it's B's life, used to share stories. She was pretty open. Her mother-in-law that she took care of was, had dementia. And I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if, that was a couple years ago, but she would share those kind of stories too. And, it's, you're not laughing at them, but sometimes the only thing that you can do is just kind of let out a laugh.
But the thing is Mandy will come home, and I come bopping through the door, oh baby, I want, and I look at her and she's just like, hey. And she does it with love. It's not like she says, leave me alone or this and that. Very rarely. I can count the times on one hand that she's had to tell me, no, I don't have the energy for it. She doesn't. She still has time for her husband.
Yeah.
And she's talking about, we're talking about having the time to have a child. So it's just amazing. I mean, it's I don't know, it's like night and day for me. My life is like night and day. You always want to be with somebody that wants to make you better. They want to make you a better person because of what they do and how they conduct their life. And that's one of the things that she does. So it's pretty amazing. But on that note,
well, it said, imagine being trapped inside your own mind. It's heartbreaking. I can't imagine. And a lot of them have enough pride that they're not going to admit they really don't know. But how helpless you must feel when you realize you don't know things. And even some of the things that she was able to retain short-term memory when I started, it's starting to go. And, a lot of times when her daughter's like, I know it's part of the process. And she's like, okay, wait a minute. It's part of the process does not apply when it's your mother. You feel what you feel, and that's valid. Because I come in as a third party and say, well, and whatever, and you don't see me kind of mourning the loss of whatever. Don't think for a second that you need to be that way.
Right.
You let it be one of my parents or my in-laws, and you see how it's no longer just a caregiver role.
Right.
So I think people need to give themselves more credit. People think if they educate themselves about dementia or whatever, then with their family member, they should, just, okay, no. You deal with it how you deal with it, and...
Yeah, I mean, so you can see people on YouTube or whatever,
Thank
you can see Tomahawk Sean or ATX, and when they get into the drama, because you can see her Twitter. She gets down in the drama and stuff, but the person is quite different. I mean, she's I don't know, I love her, so.
Aww.
I mean, I do.
That means a lot to me. And that means more, the biggest compliment that I can get when people do, and I'm humbled by it, is when someone says she's as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside, because everyone wants to be both.
The people that
anybody
don't.
that said they don't are but I would hate to have pretty outsides and see other people who had, in AA they say they have what I want, meaning I can look at them. I like the fact, and it's nothing about outsides, and that's where the confusion comes in over there, is I want what they have, means I want the serenity, I want the attitude, I want the everything that they have. I don't know.
That's plenty of time.
So anyway, have you ever watched the channel JoJo? His mom was amazing. Oh no, I'd like to see that. And I've said this before. Oh, Shauna wants to hug us both. That's so cool.
So it shows you're in a healthy marriage. And the thing about being in a healthy marriage, Sean, is that, I'm like 52 years old and learning what it is, learning what a healthy marriage is. You gotta come out. You've got to be in a position. Like I wasn't in a position where I had a lot of people around me. They didn't want to be around me, and I'm not talking about just like family and friends, notwithstanding, because most of those had to distance themselves too. But I'm just talking about being in a work environment and being in a society where you see other people and their situations and how they live, and you can just be a coworker and I've got a couple people that I consider friends and see their lives, and you can bounce what you're doing or how you live, and gain wisdom from them.
So you don't have to hide what you're going through at home.
Well, people didn't want to be around me. They couldn't be around me. It wasn't. I wasn't able to have acquaintances because
And you couldn't go to Christmas parties.
they couldn't expose themselves to that environment that I was living in. They liked me. They thought I was a good dude, but so now I can learn. I just learn every day. And it's kind of cool to be back in the world, so.
It took you a while to rejoin it.
Yeah, I mean, even with Mandi, it was a little while before I was around
And that's
people
why I said
comfortably.
that time we had in the apartment was he knew he trusted me, and he knew, but beyond that, and I know it sounds like was a feral husband or something, but as far as the people around, I wasn't constantly saying so-and-so was hitting on me, so-and-so did this, so-and-so, where he had to play the husband role with this dramatics and histrionics. I was I didn't do that. So his role as a husband was different than damage control. Would you say you were a partner instead of a babysitter or a caregiver?
Well, yeah,
and
that's, and which that part of when you accept like a for better or for worse is, I mean, just like we were talking about with your marriage, you were like, I'll make this.
I was like, I'm gonna write it out.
I'll make this work for the rest of my life. But I'm just talking about the rest of the, normal, well-adjusted people that are like, I can't do this with you. Mm-hmm. I can't be your friend. You can't come over and watch the game with me. I don't want. I don't share a lot with you. Now, I had coworkers when I worked my other jobs that I got to know pretty well, but inevitably I'd have to leave that job my friendships never progressed.
Why would you have to leave the job?
Well, just because of whatever. I mean, you guys all watched for years how things would happen, and then we would move, or I would have to change my job, or, some drama would happen. How many times did we move? Just 1, 2.
And it was like spur of the moment, right? One day you just would come home and it's like, we're moving.
I'm out. I can't do this anymore. And it was just because people in that area were just kind of, the jig was up, and there was no more bullshit. Yeah. So she had to go. It's like right now. I mean, if someone was to say, what is her next move? I mean, like, what can she do? She has to leave North Carolina. She has got to go somewhere else.
And please do, because we would like to go that direction at some point. So if you could. Hit the road. And the amazing thing, she's on the internet, you would bend down to give her a kiss and she would push you away.
Well, or I'd be at work working a third shift, and I mean, Mandi was my friend, back then. And
really,
be
just
like,
a friend.
Just
and
my friend.
Not in 2017, it was way out.
Yeah, like it was, there was that one New Year's. Remember the New Year's? It might have been the last New Year's.
Because she was letting all those minors get drunk.
And
so I was like, you might want to check on this.
And then Mrs. ATX texted me, is like, hey, Captain, is the wife okay? And part of it was because of the drinking. I mean, you don't drink.
No, and there was minors there. There were
and you knew that the behavior changed and took a turn when there was alcohol involved.
Yeah, she did push him away, or she would say something, and she would say something abrasive or whatever. Sean was yesterday. We were looking at snow crab in the and some of you may remember this. I don't. In the grocery store, and it's costly. And he was talking about the Valentine's Day that he made snow crab, and what was it that you made?
It was snow crab and something else. But
and it was about $80. And
I think just flowers or whatever.
Flowers and and it was televised on a live stream, which I don't guess you cared about that, but it was dramatized.
I think she put. I don't remember, but see.
Do y'all remember that? I don't remember that.
But it was back then. It was more. It was exponentially more than I had because I had to relegate myself to working these retail jobs for $12, $13 an hour. And, you can put in 40 hours a week at one of those jobs, and it's not a huge paycheck. So, after all the bills got paid and everything that I described a little while ago, it'd be about, $400 a week to live on. And
which is fine, but
which
he
is-
was that's one of the first things I told him when we got together. I was like, what you do is what you do. Whether you want to write, whether you want to be a stay-at-home dad, whether you want to, but you're not limited. I'm like, you are capable of doing just about anything that you want to. And he was
And I
like,
was
well,
like-
that's just because, no, I'm telling you.
And I think one of the things that you're seeing, is like, I'm gonna go out and make some money.
Yeah.
I work.
He
and
did,
I
he
don't-
did
I don't-
DoorDash when we got here.
Yeah, I don't have like a high paying salary job, and all that, but I get out there and I put in hours that at a really good rate, hourly rate.
And we have
know.
Sub-Zero appliances. I don't know what the hell those are, but we have them.
But I was never
Someone tell
able
me
to
what they
really
are. I
do
don't know
that.
what
I
they are.
couldn't put in the hours. You put in the hours, you earn some money, and you show
Yeah.
each other what you can do, what you can build financially as well as spiritually or whatever. But it takes two to do it. And if there's only one person trying, the other one's just going to settle in to a certain way of life, and that's kind of.
Yeah, someone's told me that now you had a relationship with Paula. So that's Seabreeze, Paula, me, Dark Soul, Izzy,
Savage.
Savage. So I mean, when were
They're-
you getting the $5 bills
I mean,
in the parking lot?
I am making the moves, people.
Let me tell you something.
Obviously,
After
I got a Lear jet, and I
after
just
we do our
fly around.
acrobatics, he goes to sleep. No problem there. Again,
I mean, not
no
to go to
problem there.
Texas. Oh, I don't even know where.
But he passes out.
Where does Izzy live?
And when he does fall asleep, like when we're done, and I'm like,
She's
that's
like,
how
she,
you do it.
She sees me. I'm laying there shaking for a little bit.
He
and then
can't
I-
even
and
gather
then I
his
go
thoughts.
to sleep. I was like, can you?
But
give
I'll
me,
start talking to him, and he's like, I can't even right now. I can't gather my.
It's like can you give me a couple of leave and some and a
But
Gatorade?
I mean, and how you
And,
talk about the opposite thing as
Don't
as
forget about Katie. Yeah, Katie was on that list
your
too.
your ego as a woman. Tell me how amazing it is when you're done with your man that he can't even think straight, and
I'm also old, so.
yeah, but you can't. I mean that's that's you like talking. I mean, not you don't like talking about, but there's so much more to love making. I hate that word, but love making than just the mechanics of
Yeah.
it, of everything working the way it's. Well, of course it does.
He's shaking. I mean, you should see.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in anticipation because we're gonna get off the live stream and then probably a little bit after that I'm gonna be like just put the remote over
But
there,
the
turn
thing
the
is,
TV off.
I made
and
you a vlog today.
Can you set my alarm for 6:30? Because
I made you a little clip today, but I
know.
couldn't send it because of their internet. And it said, because I was talking about last night, and it said, when I sit there and lay with you and we watch sports or the recaps, your comments and the puns and stuff that you make about it, so that is every bit I love it, as intimate as the act itself. Just listening to you, like we sit there and do whatever, and you pay attention to me and you watch that.
You
but
guys know that,
your
you know.
comments are hilarious.
When you're with your partner, your life partner, or your partner, I don't know how old all y'all's relationships are. Just laying in bed, waking up with somebody, or just crawling into bed
Yeah.
and throwing a television show on and just vibing. It doesn't have to have anything to do. It doesn't have to be sexual.
No.
That's what. That's
See,
what,
he agrees.
yeah.
That's what it's about. When you can lay there, doing nothing, and I even
Your mind is at peace and is happy. Yeah.
even when we're going to sleep, I think, you know what, we're going to be asleep, but I have another 8 hours with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it goes
That's
so
what I think.
quick.
Yeah, but I'm like, we're going to literally be another, and that's what it's about. That's a true connection, is just doing something like sleeping and you're still connected. And I've never had that before.
And me neither.
Yes.
And that's why when I've been reading the comments and someone talks about, oh, this is so sexual and this and that. That's why when stuff gets over sexualized, you can't even. It's like the difference between shooting a bullet and throwing it. Somebody's over there trying to over sexualize everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is
More than the mechanics.
right.
And it's more than
It's
that.
way more than that, and it's just so. I can honestly say this. This is a lot of information, but when me and Mandi get into it, when we start to get affection and start to get, where we're gonna make love or have sex or whatever.
Absolutely.
There's no telling how it's going to be, what if
Yeah.
it's going to be this, aggressive and passionate, or if it's going to be,
It's not planned.
It's not a planned thing. Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it just,
That's why.
if it doesn't really matter, I'm still knocked out afterwards.
That's why when there's that, they're hooping and the hollering, it's a Twinkie this, it's that, it's not this. You don't have to address it because number one, that's tacky, and number two, it's not true. And that's just neither here nor there. But it doesn't even matter. Like when people gloat, well, he had da-da-da-da. Okay, well, there's more to it than that. Now that's definitely a nice surprise when the person that you do, and I'm not gonna, but there's more than just the mechanics of it. Anybody can, you can do it to yourself for just that.
Nobody,
you know what I mean? You don't,
yeah, nobody treats me like me.
Yeah, but I don't.
Nobody treats me like me.
Is that when you
But,
need the Gatorade and the Aleve for after? Yeah, and that's the thing when she talks like he's a ninja with, spinning around, helicoptering, throwing, whatever. I'm like, Sean would need Motrin, he
Right.
would need an ice pack, and probably a heating pad.
And being in the hospital. But, yeah, we were, there was this there's a Facebook group page called Page 11. And, it's a pretty big group. There's tens of thousands of people in
Yes.
it. And it's like got sexual innuendos in it, right? And they have like Taco Tuesday, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of weird stuff.
Hey, Chris.
So the one question was asked, a woman, one of the gals, I don't know any of them personally, but they just kind of, it's a good question, it's a good thread. The threads are gold. So the question was, ladies, how long do you think a man should last? And they put it out there, and it's a good, like, kind of a troll topic, because
everybody shows their
stuff,
colors.
the stuff that people say, and you can tell the guys are like, well, it's not uncommon for me to last 45, and these dudes are so desperate. And I try to put an age on the person that's answering, because I'm a firm believer that until you get to be about 35 years old, a woman of the same age, like 18, 25, is so much mature than a man is.
Yeah.
The way they think about things. I mean, like an 18-year-old dude and an 18-year-old woman
Thank you,
are on
Gina.
totally different planes of thinking about stuff like that. And when the guy's 25, the girl's 25, she's still mature. And it's somewhere in the 30s where I think a guy kind of has
Even
enough
now.
laps around the track in life and gains enough wisdom to kind of be an intellectual and an emotional equal.
Right.
That's kind of my
Well,
opinion.
don't you always, didn't you always used to say, when people are like, it takes 45 minutes, you're like, well, you're not doing something.
You're not
right."
doing anything. I can do it all night. I said, why in the hell would you want to do that?
It's like, clearly you're doing something
You're not
wrong.
doing, if it takes that long, then but
Thank you, Sean. Gina says, I'm so glad you got out of that situation. You are so much happier. Bless you both. We see the love between you. And that's,
it does. It means everything. And-
we're
and I would be
humbled to show
lying.
you that.
I would not be truthful if I said that being in like the drama community and everything that you saw from everybody, that for me to meet this gal, someone else in the community, and we built what we've built, there is a part of me that is satisfying that it's
Yeah.
with the same group of people. Even the ones that don't like me, they can't, they can,
Well, you didn't have to explain, look, I've got a really crazy soon-to-be
yeah,
ex.
that's true.
And
That's
he
true,
said,
but-
he goes, that would be, how do you explain the depth of that to somebody? Like, the irrational, you never know what's gonna happen. We were ready for everything that, whatever.
It was pretty fun though, most of the time. But and like whenever we first came out together, you've talked to it. There was a lot of, because it's a female-driven community, so there was all kinds of opinions about, oh, they're cheaters, they're adulterers, and there's that, or she's a homewrecker, he's a homewrecker, and this and that. And you would see all these comments, and some people loved that we were together, and other people didn't. But you didn't see there wasn't a single guy really in the community that said, that was like, oh, she's a skank, she's this and that. Most of them were like, right on, Tomahawk. They was like, good for you, dude. That's
Which is flattering.
You can call her a lot of things, but you can't call her ugly.
Yeah,
so.
that's what always cracks me up. And they're like, she's over there screaming that you're ugly and you're this. And I'm like, okay, listen, I'm humble and I'm called a lot of things. A lot of things. I'm
Ugly.
not typically called ugly.
Not
Now,
ugly,
whether
so.
I'm everybody's cup of tea or not, that's a different thing. But ugly, not so much.
Yep. I mean, all the girls were like this and that, and I would never, and he doesn't have a job, or blah, 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 or he's this, or he's old, or he's blah, 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 and this and that. All the guys were going, you say what you want, but
I think Stewie,
Tomahawk got him a good one.
Stewie said that.
Yeah,
He's like,
he
in the
did.
beginning, he
He
was
did.
like, hey, Diane, he said that. And every time someone tells me, it never gets old. Like, when someone tells me I'm beautiful or this or that, I'm humbled each and every time. Some people see that scroll across the chat and they go, thanks. That's not.
I remember what Stewie said, because Stewie's allowed to say stuff, crack jokes about race, because he,
Yeah.
But he said something like, right on, she's the beautiful ATX, and she's got good credit, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But does she have good credit?
And the one
it was
time
like-
Abe popped through when we were streaming at your mom's house, and he was like, ATX, I didn't know you had such
Big
huge,
knockers.
something like that. And I was like, well, I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I do have high cheekbones, which that's why
There wasn't a single guy that was like, come on, man, you can do better than that. They were all like, right,
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
well
was-
done, well
That's
played.
What, hey, Ricky, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. What a travesty that is, because I've seen the clips, but I don't have to put contour on, because my cheekbones are higher, and when I do try to put contour on, it does look like a bruise. People, not even with him, before that they would say she's got mud on her cheeks and stuff like that. So, so Ricky, this is I don't want to say what his name used to be because I don't know if that's his last name or not. But anyway, he's in here, and
Yes, Christy.
he's being called, among other horrible things. She was saying his face has been eaten off by somebody on bath salts.
Who said that?
The beast, and
Oh
that
my
is the
God.
insult she hurls at him. And calls him acid face, and you figured out how to do it.
I did.
Calls him acid face, and then refers to family members of his that are, if that's all you've got, you've already lost. You've already lost.
Lost.
Yeah. And when she brings up what happened with him and Sean's involvement, Ricky will say, "We're good." Sean apologized.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been out with a lot of people too. But Ricky was. I mean, the thing with Ricky is that I knew, and this, that early on, like back in the condo days, back in 2016, about the dissociative personality, the split personalities, and I knew that, and I picked that out early on in the whole drama thing, and so I tried the best that I could to not go down, not to go down the rabbit hole about it, because I know someone that's close to me that had that's something that they deal with, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, in that you want to be David Koresh, apparently. But the when I think about, I'll show you the kitten first, so
it
we don't
sounded
get
like he got dropped on his head again.
No, Sawyer was chasing him. He jumped off the deck the other day, scared us to death. He landed. Cats are supposed to land on their feet. He landed on his head.
The first time that he went outside and he was with Ellie, and I call her the Calico because Ellie is we have 3 cats. We have Storm, we have Ellie, and then we have Scout. Look at him. Ellie's our outdoor cat. She comes and goes, but she can be nowhere to be seen. We have woods all around us, and I just call her Ellie, Eleanor, and she'll just pop her head out of the woods and come trotting towards home.
She gripes the whole way.
When I come home from work, she comes out from wherever she is in the woods and comes in. Well, he got out. This is probably 3 weeks ago or whatever. First time that so Ellie is 10 months old, 9 months old, so she's running around doing whatever, and so he's trying to keep up, and so she goes on our back deck, and then she kind of jumps off the back deck a good 10 feet in the air and kind of glides and lands because she can. He followed her. And so he goes flying off the deck. This little, at the time, what is he, about 3 months old?
Yeah.
So he was only a couple months old, and he goes flying off the deck and doesn't land on his feet and kind of lands on his head. And kind of his head goes sideways, and I was like, oh my God. And kind of got up and was so
disoriented.
He was so disoriented, he was hissing, like randomly just hissing at things. It scared me.
Scared us to
Yeah,
death.
I thought that it had,
It was okay.
broke his neck or something like that.
And he's fallen in the bathtub before, and I had to pull him out of there.
Twice he falls in a full bath.
So we said he's 3 lives into his 9 lives.
He's not even a year old. But so
He's
now
so
he goes
sweet,
to
though.
the edge of the front door and he doesn't go out.
He's like,
That's okay.
look at him. He's so sweet. When he's first sleepy and I can pick him up and he snuggles, and then he's like, I gotta go. But anyways, Ricky, when I think about the depravity that someone has to have and the hatred for somebody else to sit there and say, like someone's eating your face that was on bath salts. I can't fathom
It's weird, man.
what where that person is, and I don't feel sorry for her, but I cannot imagine that's your baseline. That's your baseline. But
I just guess that I've been away from it, long enough that
it's just horrible.
when I hear people that I know or that I've been in live streams with and stuff going, like calling in to her channel or doing whatever, it's surprising to me because I guess you hadn't heard them enough or whatever, or
Going back
it's
for
almost
more.
like they're going back in to
MBM.
kind of poke it. You poke crazy, and then when something happens, because trust me, when you interact with her, all she's doing is probing and looking for a way to use you and hurt you, and I've been away from it long enough, so when I hear such and such called in or such and such did this, I'm like, I'm perplexed by it. I'm like, why? Anyway, but everyone has their reasons. It's not.
With Ricky, the whole history that was supposedly uncovered that revealed his search history, that Yaba even came back and took it back. She was incorrect about the assumptions. So that story's old. It's been blown out of the water. He was not looking up nastiness like that. She even came forward and said she was wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong, chap, but I'm pretty sure. So that's an old narrative. And also
Typical perfect drama, though, to
Right.
find that and to put it out there.
But and also, let's just face it. Most of those viewers that are in there just to see the show are not looking at her, not there for her intelligence and her whatever. They're to look at how little she's wearing, whether it's a bath towel, whatever it is. So those are underage people that you are using for views. So I wouldn't accuse other people, because right now I bet we don't have a lot of kids watching, because I've got clothes on. We're not talking nasty. We're keeping it classy. And preteens and teens are not drunk. Oh my God.
We got a few more minutes.
I know.
We got a few-
Preteens and
It's that 10%, which is an eternity for
they're
her.
not
But
interested in whatever. They're not here. They're not here. And I don't care what your analytics show, if only a small percentage are between this and this, because they're not going to have their real age, because they can't go into age restricted things if they have their real birth date down. So I just wanted to make that clear before you start saying that other people are like Sniper Wolf is directing towards children. You can say this is an adult chat all day long, but when you're half naked, or you get out of the shower and all you're in a towel and you're spilling your thing, you're doing it to entertain an age group that or men. I mean, however the case may be.
the thing that I
But don't
noticed
hurl
is
that in, you know what I mean?
I've had it where she showed me a picture, whatever, and I've mistaken her for Tam Tam.
Yeah.
That's how, and what I'm getting at is, Tam Tam didn't always look the way she looks. I mean, when she was younger, she was probably a cute gal. But then you age, when you have that and you're constantly angry and mad and going back and forth, you age. And I've seen that profile. I've seen a picture where they put Tam Tam and my ex right up next to each other, and they looking remarkably the same.
Yeah.
That's and to me that's what's shocking, because I don't follow it all the way through, so I don't see this. To me, it's not like progression. It's like every so often I see a picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, and but when you look at like Tam Tam, I don't want to call her by her name, and she gets all pissed off and starts talking about us, and that my ex and some of the people that have similar behavior, they tend to start looking alike.
Yeah. I think, I don't want to say it out loud because I don't know, but Miss Christie, where she says she'll be in that area or whatever, is that the one that was Christie in the Carolinas that at one time was?
I don't know.
I don't want to like, but she was done dirty too by her, if that's her.
Yeah.
But
Everybody is sooner or later, and that's
I
why
agree.
when Sally was on panel,
Hail.
when Sally called in, and I guess that she was talking about her mom or whatever, was trying to get her upset.
she was trying to trigger by
And
talking about
Sally
her mom.
was dealing with it apparently, and I didn't hear the sound clip, but it was described to me, and I just said that's just her trying to probe for
Yeah.
something to hurt her with.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about that. That's not. I mean, well, she handled it well, and this it doesn't matter. She's mocking her, and she's trying to figure out how to bring her down to her level, where she says or does something that's.
And any human factor that was ever in her appears to be gone. The people talk about, I know, right? I wanted to say, Black Dragonfly said, I peek in and quickly gauge the manic level and nothing has changed. There's a cycle.
Tam, the only homophobic ex-lesbian I've
Yeah.
ever known. That's so funny.
She wants her some Savage and Shannon.
That's the whole deal about why she gets so mad about the beach trip
That's
and this
what
and
I
that.
thought, Christy.
Yeah, you're right on about that. She likes them.
So, and people bring up karma a lot, and, we were talking about this, we're on different places sometimes as far as, like, spirituality and what we believe. I mean, we're common on whatever, but we'll bounce stuff off of each other. And so karma, I don't know karma as a whole, how much I believe in it, except that I do believe what's supposed to happen happens. And if you're a certain type of person and you make certain decisions, that's kind of say the word, say the trajectory.
Trajectory.
And I do think that when you're alone in an apartment with your dog, nobody wants to have anything to do with you. Your exes don't want to have anything to do with you. Your parents don't want to have anything to do with you. I think that is, quote unquote, a bed you make.
I think it's safe to say that right now Clint has probably entered stage M. And he's still got some time to go.
Some time to go, but
He got some time to
what
go.
saved old Johnny Boy was when when Sean came into her life. Johnny didn't get drugged no more. Well, no, he did.
He did.
To you.
But
And then
yeah,
I'm not gonna dox his name or whatever, but there's always someone that has to take the dragging, because they can't admit that there's anything wrong with the narcissist.
another example is that when you remember when H.G. Tudor went on Diane's stream, it was probably about 18 months ago now, right? And he was answering questions and this and that. This is a narcissist, a malignant narcissist, and he's in the channel. And whatever, it's good drama. But when the gals that were in that thing, in that chat, complimenting H.G. Tudor's like his accent. A lot they thought his accent was sexy and this and that. You got no reaction out of the guy for it. And that whole time he's listening and he's quiet and he's looking for ways to get people. He's looking for ways to manipulate.
Yeah. And he's getting paid to talk
And
about himself.
and he's getting paid to talk about himself.
Which is why, the beast wants to be a motivator. She wants to be paid to talk about herself. Well, that's all fine and good, but you got to have something someone wants to hear. And they don't want to hear about Sean's anatomy or if that's your speech, there's that. But
that's what they do. So when they get you on panel, or you're on or they come on your panel, and you feed them, they're going to take that. They're going to take it in, and but all they're doing is looking for ways to get the supply that they need, you know, to get what they need, the fuel that they need, and how to manipulate the people on panel. And people do it in different ways, you know, to hurt them, to.
So would you say if no one, like, if a narcissist has no one in their direct life that's buying their bullshit anymore, that's kissing their butt, that's talking them up, that they can, you know, love bomb, that they can do all those things, would you say that they could turn to a live stream chat to get their supply if they have to? I mean, if you're desperate
if nobody is talking about them, giving them their supply, just call it supply. It could come in a lot of ways. Whether it's giving them money, giving them attention, giving them sex, they'll start to fall apart, and then their behavior will become more and more erratic until they find some fuel. And yeah, I mean, social media is a perfect.
So if you're pretty much isolated in your place, then you're gonna turn to whatever you can get.
And if you don't have to leave, because you don't really care about others, you don't care about relationships, you just want to feed yourself. And if you don't have to leave your own home, and you can just turn on Facebook or Live Me or YouTube and get a bunch of people to, you know, that's what you'll do. That's what they'll do.
And a lot of, like, one of the things is like, she'll say, why would I lie about abuse? What do I have to gain by lying about the abuse? Well, if we look at material things, you get, when someone else hasn't heard that bullshit before, you're probably getting money from women who have been abused in the past. I think that is your go-to cash cow when you need money, is starting to do that. That's number one. And number two, you're doing it because you need supply. You need the attention that people feed you.
It's really about the attention. The monetary thing is a real concern.
Right, but when she starts getting desperate.
And that was satisfied when she was with me, because I took care of that. But it's an insatiable need for attention that they can never fill. It doesn't matter. I was talking to you about, they could marry and guys too, saying, you know, talking about guys too, they could marry the most beautiful person, most gorgeous person, have the rockin'est sex, can have millions of dollars in the biggest house, the fastest car, and it eventually will not be enough.
And they'll start picking.
It eventually will not be good enough. Yep, and a narcissist has constantly got their main source, and they're constantly looking for other supply all the time.
Wow.
All the time, nonstop. So.
Yeah. I mean, he knows a lot about it. Once he finally opened his eyes and got out of that situation, he dove into studying what people had been saying, with the experts, who a couple of them do watch it.
There's a couple of people, it was before I was with Mandi, and you guys remember I was using the Tomahawk Sean channel, and you guys were great. I mean, y'all were all watching it, and there's a few people, because I was talking about going zero contact, and people would argue with me, because there's folks that have been victims of narcissists, and, you know, they say, well, you're not zero contact. And I mean, if I'm in the same social media community, it's not zero contact. So in that regard, they were correct. But as far as a phone call, a text, anything, none of that has ever happened. I think April 20th. I mean, with a full, like.
That was the whole Cunzilla.
Huh?
That was the whole Cunzilla thing when you.
Oh yeah, that accidentally.
She said you meant to send me a screenshot.
And
she had been relabeled as "See you next Tuesday, Zilla."
Yeah.
And she got it instead. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like shocked.
Because I cut. She would occasionally text me.
She said to send her a check. That's what she had texted you.
Yeah,
to say,
she said something
like,
"We've been apart for 3 months and
send
you haven't."
Me a check.
So every once in a while, she would reach out and probe, and I never would send anything back, you know, or I would block that, and then she'd come through with like some other Google account or whatever, and so I screenshot it.
To send to me.
To send to her. So when I screenshot it and then I hit go, I sent it right back to
I've done that before. Have y'all ever done that?
Yeah.
Screenshotted something for one family member and then you mean to send it to the other one. But
and that was, besides that, there was
well, she was desperate for you to contact her by then because she said Becca still thinks you're her father.
Right. So, but there's people that were really concerned with how I was explaining myself on my vlogs, because they had been victims of narcissists, and they had to go zero contact, which is meaning like they don't know where the person is, they don't have any, You know, that's what zero contact is, an abusive relationship, no contact at all. And obviously, in our drama community, I couldn't do that. It wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
So I had to understand that, you know, some people were gonna disagree with how I handled stuff, and then,
But she tried everything to get, she even went through our paralegal to try to get.
yeah, y'all remember that? She would call
That's
my
on our-
attorney
What is
and
her
go through, you know, can you just pass them this
Yeah,
message?
can
It
you
was-
tell
it was
him that,
insane. It was-
whatever,
that was
anything
hard.
that she could do to try to get contact, so, I have a cat here.
I said,
It's-
no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm busy.
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 It's 9:43. We need 7.5 minutes. No, but
You know,
we do need to go to bed. Look
well,
how
I
late
think
we're
I
staying.
can typically last, it's not
We're
uncommon that I'll
staying-
last 45 minutes.
We're staying up later. I feel like we're really getting ready because if we're gonna have a baby, we got to get back in the night routine.
Yeah.
Like
And
what's funny
I'm
is in the
still
middle.
gonna have to get up and go to
When
work.
in the middle of the night, sometimes Sawyer will do this thing where I don't know whether he really needs to go out or he wants to go out, but I'll be like, Sean Sawyer, and he'll be like, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be getting up in the middle of the night. He's like, okay, I'm taking.
I'm like, I got it. So I'll get up to take him out. She goes, no, Sean, put pants on first. You can't go out in the front yard like that. Wake up enough where you know.
I had to deal with that. My father and my stepmother is a narc, and I want zero contact with her. Okay, I mean, that's where it gets complicated. I took a sexy pic of the husband laying actually in bed nude, accidentally sent it to my mom.
Oh my God.
Thank God it was certain things.
That's funny though.
Oh my God. I think everyone, I had a friend one time, way back who, she had a young daughter and she was a good mother, but she was young, and she finally, she divorced the husband that she'd had, you know, she was in her early 20s or whatever. And she started going crazy. And in the sense that she was going out every night, she was taking pictures, she was doing whatever. And I was talking to another friend about her, and I went to say, wow, can you say Casey Anthony? And I sent it to the girl that was partying. And I tried, like, can you say?
You can't take it back.
There's nothing I could say. I
You
said,
can't delete, you
I
can't
said,
do
I'm
it.
just kidding, don't get upset. And she was like, that was not meant for me. And I was like, no, it wasn't. But I was just saying, you're hanging all over people.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where your daughter is. I mean, they knew she was with the parents, but they didn't. And that was the worst one. So I already did the 1, 2, 3 checks. So if you're saying something that's questionable, you check once at the top, you check twice at the top, and you check a third time to make sure you know exactly.
Because
who
you
it's
guys,
going to.
you social media DM darlings are DMing 4 and 5 people at the same time and shucking and jiving.
Flipping
No, don't do
between.
that.
But yeah, so there's that.
I think you're probably at about 1%, babe.
Oh, that's right. My battery's gonna die
Yeah.
anyway. My
We're
battery's
gonna
die
have to
anyway.
say goodnight, folks. I think we're gonna do a live stream here coming up real shortly where where we just talk about narcissism. We can do that,
Yeah.
not and just in general, because it always comes back to that. People they ask me stuff about it. And Kratom. So
And I genuinely asked because he looked into it so heavy that I'd always heard, oh, so and so's a narcissist, but until you know what a narcissist, it's more than just being in love with yourself.
yeah,
way
and
more
if you,
involved
And
than
you
that.
all that have been victims of narcissists, once you truly get out, not keep
I know,
getting
Sean, right?
sucked back in, because people get sucked back in. You see some of this stuff on the community with some of these other people that could break up, and it happened to me. But when you truly get away, and then after, here, what is it, almost 3 years? I mean, April will be 3 years ago. You catch energy and you can see narcissistic behaviors just around you and in
Yeah.
people. And you have to be very, very careful about accusing, because not just because they do certain things that narcissists do doesn't make them a narcissist, but makes my hair stand up
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, and
There's different forms of it too. We can get into that. We should do that. We should plan that.
that would be a good. A lot of them are only children.
Yeah, only children, yep.
I
Because
didn't-
they've got people that there's 2 components. They get overly spoiled with attention their whole lives, or neglected their whole life. That's the 2 main things. They didn't get any attention, or they got way too much.
Yeah.
Those are like the 2 main cogs in it.
Things that do it. That's interesting. That would be cool to do a panel about that because
We have to figure out how to do panels.
I don't think I'm a narcissist. I hope I'm not. It sounds like a whole lot of trouble, and I'm real lazy. So I would rather just be bipolar.
Well, you have people right here. Narcissist is on this scale, and then altruistic saintliness is on this, like, truly ultimate selfless behavior is over here, and that's nobody either. Mother Teresa stuff, you know, Gandhi stuff. So we're all right here. So if this is the baseline, we're all kind of in here. It's normal to be a little bit narcissistic or a little bit altruistic. Narcissist is way over here, and then the truly selfless behavior is over here. And
But-
that's kind of like how to look at it.
See, that's interesting. Thank you, Whiplash. I've always said this, especially when there was the big debate about, you know, so and so has this, and the victim card of my husband has PTSD, and I have bipolar. I used to tout that from the rooftop. I was like, and this was my ex, and I was like, I have a husband who has PTSD and I'm bipolar. It's not a ticket to be a fool.
No, you're still responsible for your own behavior.
You're still responsible for what you do.
I got a little laminated card that says that I'm,
Yeah.
you know, but that doesn't mean that I can't just show that to the judge and do whatever I want to do.
Right. That was
So-
like that's not a catch-all. So Let It Go said, was TT's mom mean to her, Sean?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that if you were TT's mom, wouldn't you be mean to her sometimes? I mean, it would be hard. It'd be a tough, I mean, trying to be completely fair to both sides in this, it'd be a tough, tough trying to raise her.
I tried not to laugh,
I mean,
but
you
I
know,
under-
so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Had you
but I
ever
don't
heard
know.
of abuse, physical abuse?
Well, I heard all kinds of stories. So I don't know what's completely true, you know?
Well, there
but,
you go.
but we
You are
better
literally
know.
a caregiver. You have empathy. Thank you. I do appreciate
does.
that. But when I say I'm lazy, I'm as
Not
far as
lazy.
thinking things through and plotting, I'm pretty lazy. No, lazy in the
Well, I
sense
mean,
that
she's pretty much.
I can't keep one step ahead of everybody mentally or
First
whatever.
of all,
I just
she's
don't
not,
have.
She's not a. I mean, well, I say she's not a good liar. She could be sitting over there going, "Yeah, I am."
Oh,
But-
I'm an addict in recovery.
Yeah, I mean, she's a hustler,
any
but
addict
it's not.
knows.
I think that she's fairly authentic. Let's put it that way. That's what she is. She's an authentic person.
That one that came in earlier and it said Mandi druggie and it said, "Is there anything you want to own up to?" I don't know what you want me to own up to, but
she will if
I'm an
she has
alcoholic
to.
and a drug addict, and I say that at my meetings every day. My name is Mandi, and I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict.
Yeah. She's an
Snorted pills off of changing tables. I don't know.
she actually stands up and says, my name is Mandi. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I'm Sean's whore.
And I'm Sean's whore. I'll be a whore all day long for him. In closed meetings, I don't say I'm a drug addict. But if it's an open meeting, I'll say I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. Because to me, it doesn't matter what form it comes in. If you abuse something a doctor gave you and you used it to, you know, whatever, you're a drug addict. Doesn't matter what's crack, cocaine, opiates. If you abused it and you're willing to own it, you're a drug addict.
Yeah.
You're just one in recovery.
So if you need to own that up, then she has.
Hey y'all, when these two go to bed, Shannon just put up a new video dedicated to the place. Oh yeah, she went for
Nice.
Shannon.
Yeah,
Don't go for
Shannon.
Shannon. Shannon's got a lot of friends that
I mean-
fiercely defend her.
I mean, Shannon.
Fiercely. That's
Shannon
not the
branded
one
us
to
the
go to.
adulators before
Yeah.
we were friends. We are
And-
the adulators because
Yeah,
of her.
watch it. If someone can, you can put the link in it if you want to, but she's been going for her pretty hardcore, and Shannon's not the one. She's just not the one. Nobody's scared of anybody as far as jumping through the computer screen. But if you want to get to Drug to Hell to Back, that group, and I am part of it, I'm not always in their chats or the ship or whatever, but they are a very close-knit group, and you jack with one of them, you're jacking with all of them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay.
Man. So we got stuff to discuss later.
Awesome,
We'll
Shauna.
do narcissism, maybe addiction
Awesome.
and things
See,
like
everyone,
that. I
thank
mean,
you, Janine.
nice. Proud of you, Shauna.
I'll start. I mean, I had the,
Janine, I promise you I'll sleep well.
and I'll paint the house.
Yeah, she'll get up and paint the house.
Put the link in. Okay, someone who has let me go grab it real quick. It's on Shannon's channel, right? Let me grab it. Shannon also has one of the funniest parodies I've ever seen about the placeholder ever. When she did did you see it? She taped plastic over her car door, like when the bug was all falling
I remember
apart.
that.
Oh my God.
And she goes,
Here
oh,
it
and then
is.
it flies off. She's like, there it went.
Is it the $1.35 one, right? I mean, $1.35. The 1 minute 35 one. Ricky, is that it? Because I'm gonna put that in there. And if she got it in a minute 35 seconds, you can bet that is one hell of a
So that's all
is
the
that?
electrocuting you need.
turn and burn or whatever you call it.
It only takes 1 amp.
Yeah. Let me go and then we'll jump.
The title
off
is
it.
Yo TT. I can't make it.
I can't make. I'm gonna put it. Look at this. I'm gonna put it in here. Look at that look good.
If this goes dead, we're saying goodnight, but if it goes dead, it's because her battery's on like -2%. So.
I can't even paste it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, we love us some Shannon. Don't mess with Shannon either.
Yo.
Anyway, but we're gonna go to bed, and just keep that in mind, Oda. I'll just end it with this, Beastie, because I do want to talk. You have a lot more to say than I do, but I'm gonna be warm and satisfied in bed tonight.
And I'm gonna be snoring.
And I got this. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about any of that. I got all that. I told you
It's
that.
all I can handle.
I married it. I put a ring on it. It's mine. But reflect on why you're cold and alone.
Oof.
You're screaming at your computer screen.
Oof.
Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. I'm a crack whore now.
Oof. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm gonna mess with your crack. All right, let's go.
bye, you guys. Talk to you later. Let me get it.